Hello. Wow, there's some people here that are actually early. So for the one person with their camera on, Joy, where are you from? Whose team you on?
Slip shrug.
Oh man, I know you, David Lee. Benjamin, you're always prompt and on time. You're on mute.
Good morning
Good morning.
or afternoon.
Are you enjoying the snow?
It's fine. Yeah. As long as the kids' sports don't get canceled this afternoon, we are good. Happy
Exactly.
New Year.
Happy New Year. So we'll give everyone some time to get in. I call it the real estate three, and then we'll get started. We'll just walk you through kind of like the semantics of our program, kind of what's changed. I think you'll personally, Ben, enjoy this because a lot of this stuff is around sales.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Kristen, I like your Burberry scarf. So how was your holidays? Good? All right, so we'll start in literally 3 minutes. And I appreciate all of you who decided to actually show up early and on time.
A lot of otter boxes.
I know, I think it's people's new way of attending meetings. So we'll give everyone 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. Oh, look at that, our first conference room. All right, 1 more minute and we shall begin. It's my buddy Ben on the West Coast. Enjoy your sunny day, my man, because it's cold and snowing here. All right, so happy Monday, everybody. My name is Shrag Shah. I'm the founder of Shrag Shah Coaching. So I see many new faces. So for those of you who have not met me before, I got my real estate license when I was 23 years old. So yes, I actually did sell real estate for 14 years. I had my own company. Compass had acquired my brokerage in 2018, and I worked 2 years as a director of coaching and training. And for the last almost 5 years, we've run a coaching company exclusively for Compass agents. So at any given time, I've worked personally with all of your team leaders. We generally work with over 1,000 agents around the country in pretty much every different market that Compass has an agent. And the only reason that's important is we're able to condense and synthesize what's working now, along with the way that the Compass technology integrates into an actual sales process. So the goal of today is to kind of walk you through a program, show you what our platform is like, where resources are, how to subscribe to a calendar, and really how to think about coaching, right? Because I would say one of the challenges that people have, and raise your hand or hit yes in the chat, is you ever feel like you spend too much time on Zoom and not enough time seeing like the actual impact in your business? Anyone ever feel that way? So the nice part is everything that they do at Compass is integrated into our coaching. So when Client Dashboard comes out, we'll have a bonus session. We'll make all of our own training. We'll give you a system and it's there. So you don't have to go to any more trainings outside of ours, because anything they have at Compass, we generally get a month plus in advance. And I've had my own 3-phase marketing playbook since October of 2024. So we want to make sure that your focus is on growth, not attendance. So I want to explain that a little more. And Sharon Davis is on here, and she's been in our coaching for years, and she can tell you it works, right? So in working for the last 6 years and more than 17,000 hours in coaching sessions, I would say this year is like the masterpiece of my life's work, in the sense that we've figured out a way to break this all down where you should not be spending more than 60 to 90 minutes in any kind of training in a week, right? So let me share my screen. We'll walk you through this, and we'll have plenty of time in the end for Q&A. So how do we really maximize our coaching experience? Well, the first thing is you have to have a clear goal, right? And the idea of I'm going to do everything and all of it is completely overwhelming, and it leads to confusion, chaos, and certainty, which means going back to what you know. You need to commit to the process. If Ben had an appointment with me to go show me properties and another client called, could he answer a phone call? No. Could he make another appointment? No. So the question is, why do you all sell your personal development time, which is more important than any single transaction, away the first time a client calls you? It is not a systematic concept for growth. Now, focus on going deep. If you look at real estate, it is not a one-year job. It is a multi-decade career for most people. But what I find is people are challenged with the SOS, the same old stuff every single year, because no one really goes deep and no one focuses on mastery. If you look at Steph Curry, he makes a free throw 92% of the time, but he still practices every time. And as Kobe Bryant said, you'll never be good at anything you don't practice. And the last thing is the obsession should not be attending more Zooms. It should be applying learning consistently. It's what you do outside of the sessions that really matter. So if any of you ever heard of the Simon Sinek infinite game concept, this is the mindset that I want you to adopt to coaching and personal development for the rest of your life. There are 2 types of games. There's a finite game, as he says, and an infinite game. A finite game is like football, a clear starting point and a clear end point, a winner and a loser. It's what most brokerages did with all of you. Looking at each agent is just a 1-year P&L statement of how I can get the most profit out of my company. Along came Robert, who played the infinite game. Real estate and anything you do, just like your business, is an infinite game. It keeps going and going and going, and it never ends. Sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind, new players come in, other players drop out. And people that have infinite vision over time will excel, will earn more money, have a better quality of life, and have a bigger impact on their goals than those that don't. If you think about it, you go back 10 years ago, people laughed at Robert. But Robert had an infinite vision to build this one platform for all of us. And it took him almost 8 or 9 years to get there. But look at where we are today as a company, right? So what does this mean in your business? If most of your business is buyers, I would spend a year mastering working with buyers. If most of your business is sellers, I would master a year working on sellers. If you have a need for prospecting, I would master prospecting. Because here's the thing, once you learn this skill, it's like riding a bicycle. But if you look at any professional athlete, Michael Phelps practiced for 4 years for a 10-second race. It is how you become best in class at what you do. Now, there are 4 distinct tracks that we have. Sellers, people that want to really develop a robust listing business. Now, when I talk about sellers, it's prepare, pitch, execute, and the lifetime relationship of a client. It's everything from the initial conversation to the closing and beyond. So once we looked at our checklist, right? So it took us as a team, me and many other people, 6+ hours to build you all this checklist. So then I realized, like, okay, I can build this into 12 sessions with all the resources, but if it took us 6 hours to build out a checklist, how long do you think it's going to really take to master it? So then the next question people had is like, well, how do I know what all the skills are and all the things and the processes? So we built this out into a roadmap. If you learned one skill, Ben, a week and you mastered it, do you know how long it would take you to master the whole seller side? Take a guess. 6 months. Same thing on the buyer side. And that's assuming you do one skill a week. It's not realistic, right? And the reason I share that with you is you want to work on one skill, master it, then go to the next one, then go to the next one, then go to the next one. It's quantifiable growth. And if you attack your business like that year by year, every year you're going to get better. Now, remember, because of the NAR settlement, I think this is the greatest opportunity for any agent in the world because people are going to be asking you, what am I quantifiably getting from an agent in exchange for the compensation I pay? And that comes down to how you personalize the experience of them, the questions you ask, the materials you use, how you present those materials. Because if you just talk and you have no process and you're just throwing stuff against the wall, you're going to confuse them. It's going to feel chaotic and they're going to go back to certainties like I'm paying too much money for this. So this is the most important time ever in understanding how to be a great salesperson. And that's, in my mind, having effective conversations, helping other people get what they want. Anyone that's ever worked with me before will tell you, none of our stuff is high pressure sales. It's not things that are pushy, that make you feel inauthentic. It's really being caring, being a great listener, understanding what people want, and giving them the experience they're looking for, which feels good. Prospecting. Prospecting is people that really just want to know how to lead you, right? And remember, after every one of these sessions, there's work that you should be doing out of it, right? Buyers, like how many people want to know how to give a great buyer consultation, understand what people are willing to pay an agent for, deliver 5-star luxury client experiences. Because in the end of the day, the best form of prospecting is great client experience, right? So if you look at all the team leaders on here, they do such a great job at client experience. People just keep referring them. And team leaders, if you want to develop your value proposition, learn how to recruit, build culture, that track is explicitly for all of you. So the seller prospecting buyers, the sellers meets Monday at 11:30. Tuesday is the buyer session. Wednesday is the prospecting session. And at 12:30 on Tuesdays is the team leader session just for the team leads. Now, what I don't want you to do is attend the buyer, the seller, and the prospecting. You'll hear lots of great information. You'll feel like you're drinking out of a fire hose and you'll get nothing done. Attend one, at most 2 sessions, right? A week. And then after every single session, we have accountability groups, right? So you'll get an email that's a follow-up with a link to the calendar. We're in the process of manually adding you to a platform where all of our resources are. We can see the recordings and we'll go through that. And you can just subscribe to the calendars that you want and it'll put just those sessions on there. So all of you will get an email that says seller track, buyer track, prospecting track, team leader track, and then the different accountability sessions, right? So we'll go through those as well today. So you add to the calendar, you prioritize your sessions, non-negotiable, and then you pick an accountability group. Especially for the team members here, there's a lot of things for principal agents and team leaders here at Compass. I find team members kind of like the orphan group at Compass. Like there's not tons of stuff for all of you. So we've done an incredible job of building accountability groups. On our first session today, there are 80 people in the accountability group. Now there are rosters, there are areas. It's a way for you to role play, connect, share referrals. And there's at least 100+ referrals shared in our group every year. So this is your opportunity to network with other people who are going through the same exact program for an entire year as you are. So make sure you're going into an accountability group. Remember, it's attention, retention, repetition. Attention is you're hearing it the first time in my main session. Retention is you're practicing and you're hearing it again in an accountability session. And repetition is doing the work with other people outside of the session. So like today we went through our MedC pre-qualifying script. Everyone should have found an accountability partner and start practicing 3 to 5 times a week with different people. If you're doing prospecting and you have a hard time doing it, myself and let's see who's else, and Kristen, we can both go on Zoom, share our screens and just make our calls. It is the best form of accountability because people show up better for other people than they do themselves. And because you're doing it with somebody else and you want to maintain your reputation and the ability to get referrals, you'll do the work and you won't disappear. You'll disappear on yourself because you're like, okay, no one's looking and maybe I could just do this tomorrow, or my client wants to see a property, so I'm not going to prospect today. You can't sell out your time blocks, right? So I encourage all of you when you're on the platform to go back and watch the the business planning session. And it's a very different business plan than here are your goals, here are your things. It's more of a foundation on how you achieve anything you want. So we have 5 different accountability groups, right? Brad's are on Mondays at 12 after a main session. He's doing sellers. Cherish's session is primarily built around role playing. Hers is after our Tuesday session, which I will be doing tomorrow. So if you want to get an idea of what they look like, join me tomorrow after the session. Prospecting, we have 2 different coaches doing prospecting. Theirs also will be after the session. Jody's doing sellers and hers is on Thursdays, and Martha's doing buyers. Hers are on Fridays. So you notice the ones following the sessions are 30 minutes. The ones that are at the tail end of the week are 60 minutes. Our suggestion is pick one group and attend it for all 12 weeks. It's the only way that you're going to build relationships. Remember, this year for us and for all of you is about going deep and not going wide. We believe that if you show up to 60 to 90 minutes a week of sessions, right? And then you practice for 30 minutes a day. That's 4 hours. I guarantee you, if you go to the screen time section of your phone, you spend more than 4 hours on social platforms a day, right? The average American adult spends 7+ hours a day on their screen. If you look at the amount of time you pick up your phone, for real estate agents on the low end, it's 120. On the high end, it's 200+. Go look at your notifications, which are really distractions, and look at how many times you stop doing it. Take the amount of times you pick up your phone, divide that by the amount of hours in a working day. It's going to come out to once every 7 to 10 minutes. How are you ever supposed to get anything productive done if you stop and start what you're doing every 7 to 10 minutes? It's impossible. Studies show that if you break your concentration when you're focused on something, it takes anywhere from 15 to 75 minutes to get back. The problem with real estate agents, and I'm one of them because I think, as my team says, Shrug thinks like an agent, so they have their own set of challenges with me, is we all think because something is really simple and not complex, it doesn't work. We also have the misconception of, I've heard this before, so I need to go to a new thing. The answer is no. You need to hear things over and over and over again, right? For those of us that are parents, know like how many times we have to tell our kids things over and over and over again. Now, for those of us that are parents too, imagine our kids want to be the best band player, soccer player, gymnast, but they're like, Mom, Dad, I don't want to go to practice. I always joke around, and I mean this seriously. I wish everyone's kids could come to school with them. I mean, can leave school for a week, sit in on us hearing them practice, and then they'll go, Mom, Dad, when are you practicing? Because you make me go to practice. Oh yeah, never, right? A play date comes up, which is like a client, which is something fun and exciting. You just sell out the time. So it doesn't really work, right? So let's go to our platform. Give me a second here. Does anyone have any questions so far on getting the most out of the program, picking sessions, the calendar, or anything else? Ms. Karan, nice to see you here. So for many of you who've been here before, you'll notice all of the stuff that we have. We spent 6 months redoing everything. And the goal is to just condense time for you and just give you more stuff to use and make it easier for you to use with like a group of other people. All right, so when you log into our platform, it's really simple. You go to our dashboard. Now, if you click here, sessions and events, here is where you can see all the sessions and events, right? So if you hit add to calendar now, oops, Jesus, this is going to Microsoft Outlook. It will give you an option to pick the calendar. And if you click the seller one, it'll just add the seller ones. If you click Brad's accountability group Monday at 12, it will just add just those sessions. So you can just go in here and pick once you have platform access, or you can use the calendars. So this is where you can just see upcoming sessions where you can join. But again, I would add the calendar and just join from your calendar. If you go to past events, you can look at all of our past events, right? So if you go to business planning, you can look at our business planning session. Here is the actual business plan. And we have resources like this that we can share with you. This is an entire guide that you can print out on how to fill out your business plan, right? All of this stuff is in here, right? So it's robust, it's easy for you to use, and that's where all the past events are. So whether it's a new event, a past event, those are two ways that you could find what you're looking for. Then the next thing is we made guided courses for you. So if you look at all of these different areas of working with people for both buyers and sellers, they're all in here, right? Compass tool training, all of these things are in here, and they're all broken down to bite-sized pieces. So if I was to go all the way to the top to pre-qualifying, there's 3 modules. You can mark them as done, so you know you've finished them. There's a different skill level, there's different categories, so it's very easy to find. Now, this here in our content library, if you click the A to Z content, we have a technical glitch. You just have to filter A to Z, and it's all organized. This is now there's 323 different pieces of material. So we have calculator, digital checklist, 93 different email templates, 117 different scripts, slide decks, other templates, videos, workbooks. All of these things are in here. Now, one of the things that are going in here this month that will be in beta, meaning that we're all trying this together, so things will go wrong, is an AI search feature. Now, our AI search feature types in what you want, and it'll pull up the different options. And if you want a video on it, you can click video. If you want a script, you want a script. If something you want is not in here, you can submit, you can click a button, submit scenario. We know the biggest advantage we have of a group is how many of us. Meaning if, let's see who's on here, Joy or Benjamin or Kristen, Ben, share, like my clients are saying this, we can find patterns amongst what's going on in the country. And every 2 weeks when our AI feature rolls out, we'll add new things in here. It does not take me long to make videos. So in our newsletter, it'll say what's new in Shrug AI, and every 2 weeks we'll be adding a new training based on what's going on now on a national level. So that's another cool feature. So that's where all of our things are on our platform and everything else. So here are some of our product roadmap for this upcoming year. As of now, Marketing Center integration, all of our templates that you can use with clients, we're integrating into Marketing Center by the end of the month is our timeline. We'll publish them individually to your account. Buyer consultations, listing presentations, marketing calendars, every single thing, like Ben, the 7 keys to effective conversations, right? That you control, I control. They'll all be published individually to your Marketing Center account. So you can put your team's brand, your information, and use them in there. The AI search will be there by the end of the month, right? The AI coach, myself and many people know Chris Smith, who's written 2 New York Times best-selling books, was the co-founder of Curator. He sold his shares in Curator, so I can work with him now. We're building an actual AI coach, an interactive dialogue, because we know individual coaching, 1, I don't believe everyone needs it, and 2, it can be really expensive, right? I think there's a very subset set of circumstances and people that actually need it, and I think a lot of people don't. And then the skill building trackers by the end of Q1. So that 6 months of skills that if you guys want me to show you what that looks like, just hit yes in the chat. We'll pull it up in the end. That's going to be gamified into our platform by the end of the quarter. So someone who's gone through and mastered all of it, they'll be tabbed a master listing agent. So you'll be able to search people based on how much of the content that they've mastered. Right? So that all in all summarizes what we have today. Now, I just want to open this all up to Q&A. Anything that people have questions on. And I know I didn't do that good of a job that no one has questions.
Can you send this, remind us the schedule of what days the prospecting are and what days the sellers are? At what time?
This in the chat.
Please, thank you. And it starts tomorrow?
We started today, so tomorrow's the buyer one. So look, if you're working, Henry, I see you on here, welcome. If you're using buyers, just go to all the buyer sessions. If your business is predominantly listings, go to all the listing sessions. You want to know it's the worst idea in the world to go to the buyer and seller sessions together. Like clear as day, do not do it. Now, you have access to everything via your team leader. You can do whatever you want, but I promise you in doing this over and over again with people, it's addition by subtraction and simplification. Doing more and listening to more is not going to get you more. Stop going to all of these different sessions. Just stop. You can literally spend, depending on if you want a 30-minute or 60-minute accountability session, you could spend 90 minutes a week with us, 60 to 90 minutes, and you'll get everything you need to grow your business. I guarantee you. And out of every session, there are materials and everything is built in one sequence from the initial conversation to the closing and beyond. So you can start using this stuff every single day because you guys are working with buyers and sellers every day. So someone like Henry, how many buyers do you work with predominantly? 2, 3, right?
2, 3, yeah.
So tomorrow, when we go through pre-qualifying and putting the people in your CRM and everything else, you can literally take the stuff and use it tomorrow. Anyone that's a listing agent, next week, when we go through preparing the pitch, we're going to show you how to prepare. We're going to give you all our materials. We're going to show you how to use them. You can use it right away, right? The following week, when we talk about how to effectively go through a home tour where you're not just over complimenting people and then they get mad at you and start fighting with you when you don't want to list their house at their crazy price, right? Number one pitfall of a listing appointment, all of that stuff, you can use it at the end of the session, right? So if you think about it, we're all living and breathing active transactions all year round. So every time you use something and learn something, you can use it right away. But just remember where the real quantifiable year over year instant gratification and long-term gratification comes from doing the same thing over and over again. We have people that have been in our program 4 years, run accountability groups, and they're still going through this because what I don't think anyone really realizes, and we don't take enough onus on ourselves, is being a job of a real estate agent is the most complicated job in the world. There is no job in a corporation that anyone would make someone a salesperson, a customer service rep, a chief financial officer, a marketer, a team leader. It's like 5 to 7 different corporate jobs. So if you want to start at a later date, start at a later date, right? But the things go in 12-week cycles. And the goal of the 12-week cycle is, look, some people, this just might not be the right time. They might fall behind. And what we realize is over the course of a year, sometimes people just disappear. So at the end of every quarter, we'll be reaching back out and make sure you get in. But look, what I can tell you, and many of our clients can tell you on here, is if you can listen, follow directions, and relentlessly do the work, you'll grow your business, I guarantee it. So like, if you can judge how coaching works, your business, your life, and your bank account will all get better at once. By having great systems, your clients have better experience, you eliminate all those one-off phone calls, and you're able to focus on really mastering your craft, which will get you more referrals. So Amy, the next cycle starts in the first week of April. Welcome. Does anyone else have any questions? I'll stay on as long as I need to answer any of your questions. Well, look, this is a gift from your team leaders. So, I highly encourage all of you to take advantage of it, right? For agents, the first session for all of you starts tomorrow. So pick your track, if it's the buyer track. And even if you're going to do the seller track, I encourage you just to listen to it tomorrow because it's the same process for pre-qualifying. It's just like I would say maybe a 10% variation. But individual agents will pay $3,600 for an entire year. So they've all given you this gift of business growth, community, things in your marketing center, access to different AI stuff. We are so far in the weeds of AI and ChatGPT. We'll literally teach you in our buyer course how to put properties into ChatGPT and teach it how to learn your buyers so it'll write all your collections comments for you. Like it will save you hours of time. And it literally will sound like you wrote it directly to your client. So there's a whole world filled with people, possibilities, and opportunities in this program. So I encourage you all to dive in, to be consistent, and just take it week by week by week. And remember, the most important thing is not going to more Zooms, is simplifying your learning and taking the time 30 minutes a day to practice. There's no one on earth that doesn't have 30 minutes a day. And if you want to find the time and you feel like you're really busy, go to the screen time section of your iPhone and look at where you spend your time and spend 30 minutes less on something that you're already spending time today. Sharon?
Do we have to be logged into Zoom to access the platform?
No, you can, the platform's a whole different login.
Okay.
Yep.
For the Zoom link, it's asked me to sign in.
A Zoom link for what?
I don't know if anyone else experienced that,
Yeah.
but it asked me to sign in.
So all of the sessions require you to sign in because we like to know who's coming to the sessions, right? So if you have not attended a session, don't be surprised if you get a voicemail from me or an email from our team members, right? Like accountability is something that's really important. And we believe as a company, our job is to help you keep the promises you make to yourself. So we do like to know who's signing in. We know that when you sign up for an accountability group, you'll get another email in time that'll ask you for your information, your market, and so on and so forth. So people can reach out to you, role play, exchange referrals. So it's a really robust, well-organized program where we have 4 years of doing this for thousands of agents in the country, where we've been able to really synthesize and simplify all of this so that you can all just have a great experience and use what you learn. All right, so that's the end of my 30 minutes. Any other questions, comments, concerns, excitements, fear, doubts, anxiety, hallucinations? Happy to answer any of them. And if not, look, I'm grateful for the time that you've invested here today and excited for the opportunity to get you all started. So everyone that's on this call will get an email with a link to the calendars and everything. And we're manually adding you onto our platform. So at least you can add the calendars. So we'll get that email out to you by before 5 p.m. today. And you'll get a recording with a recap of everything here as well. Any other questions? You're welcome. All right, everybody, love in my heart. Love you all. It's great to see you all here. Happy New Year's, and let's take this opportunity to grow together. Bye, everybody.